And then another thing, and I'm actually glad that I'm actually glad that it's it's kind of ironic, but it's so awesome that uh you know you guys are, one of you is Caucasian and the other one is black. Like, so of course my partner is Caucasian mixed with other things, and and I'm black mixed with other things. So it's like how we as fathers, we have to teach our children that color doesn't define character,
Mhm.
especially now.
Mhm.
These times,
Mm-hmm.
this world is absolutely nuts.
Mhm.
I'm sure you guys have
Oh, yeah.
seen all the craziness. So, um, I just think that we as parents have to we have to inform them about certain things, because you don't want your child to go into the world and say, or do the wrong thing. You know what I mean? Like, I want
Mhm.
to I want to be able to teach. And I know it may be tough for my son, because he may or may not get the issues that I've got.
Mhm.
So, and I also don't like the fact that, some of my friends who are Caucasian, they get a bad rep for being friends with me. That shouldn't,
Really?
yeah. I'm just like, that shouldn't be a thing. As
Mm-hmm.
long as I'm not putting my friends in imminent danger
Exactly.
or putting them in bad situations, I don't understand what the problem is. So, I think that's another thing we should teach our children to, the color of your friends doesn't define who they are. It's how they treat you and how they treat themselves and others
Mm-hmm.
that you should look at,
Yep.
Absolutely.
because this world is just it's full of shenanigans, bad ones too.
Right.
And if we don't teach our kids, the wrong person will.
Yep. And I mean, we've already seen that. So, Monte is my brother-in-law. So my kids
Yep.
are half black, and we actually moved from Wisconsin to Virginia to be in a more diverse area, so that they can be more surrounded with people that look like them and have, it's more about who they are and what they put in the box that defines them, rather than them being put in a box. And
Yeah.
I didn't realize. So, my partner is a marriage and family therapist, has her master's and all of this stuff. And she brought it to my attention that kids learn better in an environment with other kids that look like them. And I didn't know that. But I'm from small town. I'm white. I grew up around all white people pretty much. Like, there's a few black people, few Hispanic, Latino, but like it was 95% white. And so I did not realize that was an issue, because I grew up in such a bubble. But since we owned a daycare where we were at, and it was all races and everything. And, my son learned really fast. He's a very fast learner. But when we came here, he has 2 black men teachers. And the first thing he commented on was my music teacher, and it said his name, his name, and he's like, he's brown. He's like uncle, but he's not uncle.
Yeah.
Those are his exact words. It's like,
You never told me that.
okay, yeah, I thought I told you that. So he said that, and then the other one's his gym teacher comes in, and he's like, "Oh, our gym teacher was there, and he was brown, like the music teacher, but it wasn't him." And I was like, "Well, yeah," because it's just amazing how early they pick up on this stuff, and it really does matter.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right.
Yeah,
It does.
And that's interesting that they. I like how they didn't say black; they said brown.
Mm-hmm.
That's really interesting. I like
Right.
that, because I feel like we're, you know, it's the black is, of course, we're associated with that, but the fact that he mentioned the actual skin color,
Right.
Yes.
that's really interesting.
If you listen to when kids describe people, and I know this from, you know, Monte's cousin, because I heard him talk about it too. Isaiah talking to your uncle.
Yep.
And
yep.
they don't, yeah, it's always brown, tan, dark tan, you know, like the actual colors. So like, you know, like you said, black is literally what white people put on it. Like that is what it is. Right. And,
True.
You know, rewriting history, obviously it's a real thing, and trying to teach them and not wanting to teach them. And, you know, I had to have a conversation with my son last night. We found a squirt gun on the ground, and my partner and I don't let him play with guns, period. And if it's called a gun, he can't play with it. And I had to get down to his level and talk to him that you need to let your friend go and play with that. Don't play with it, because we don't play with it, because I don't want somebody to come here and hurt you on accident, because that's a real life thing.
Happened. It's happened.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
Right.
And he's a tall 3-4 year old. Most people think he's like 6. They think he's a lot more advanced than what he is.
Yeah.
And so if he continues that, he's going to be put in bad situations. And that's something that a lot of parents don't have to think about either, that it worries me sick. Yeah. And, you know, at my old job, I would tell people this too. I used to think that I was worried about somebody taking my innocence from my children, but I learned that my children don't have that privilege, that I have to take the innocence from my children, because they are mixed, right? Because they are, as America defines them, black men. I have to take the innocence from them, or else it could be the difference between life and death. And that's sad. It's something people don't have to think about. And I wish it wasn't that way, but unfortunately
it is.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Unfortunately. Right. And you know, I'm glad that you did. I'm glad that you said, because I'm actually gonna take heed to that advice. You know, when my little guy gets older and he's old enough to talk and things like that, and when he does have a situation that he is disagreeing with, I'm gonna get down and literally look at him on his level, and we will have those conversations, because like you said, you know, I mean, it's happened. Kids have been shot for playing with toy guns that got mistaken. And I mean, they weren't even close. Like, they didn't look a lot like a real gun is the problem. No, they got the orange tip at the end.
Yeah,
you can tell. But because we live in a world where, I mean, literally, it's like shoot first, ask questions later. Kids have unfortunately been on the receiving end of that, whether it is from officers or being an innocent bystander in the middle of a drive-by that has nothing to do with them, but because the people using the weapons don't know proper etiquette to know your target and what's behind it. Kids end up getting caught in the crossfire. Innocent souls who have not a care in the world and nothing to do with your very minute and small issue.
Right.
And now a young kid is taken way too soon before they even got a chance to experience life. We don't need any more of that.
No.
We don't.
No. I think I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so I just think, you know, I think we as parents have to, and I like the fact that you said that. I like the fact, hey, you let your friend go play with that gun. You don't pick that up. Yeah.
Important topics. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that there has to be this extra precaution, right? Extra precaution that we have to teach our brown children because of racial profiling. That's really what it is. And then the other side of that, or I guess what is also unfortunate about it too, is how folks out there still don't believe that it exists. And so,
Yeah, like how are you that blind? Like really? Are you serious? If you don't see it and with your own eyes, the news does a great job.
Right.
right?
Right. And that's the
Weird,
thing with
yeah.
social media. I mean, there's literally live videos of it.
Live.
Oh my God. It's like an
Live.
everyday thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you're being willfully ignorant
Yep.
at this point. You're choosing not to see. Okay, well, this is how it's all fun and games until it happens to you.
Mm.
Then, oh my God, I can't believe this happened. Well, you chose not to see it.
Yeah.
You turned a blind eye to it. So, what? I mean, I don't understand.
Right.